As you know, Michael died of an accidental overdose suddenly in 2009 at the age of 50, and Paris bluntly tells Rolling Stone the saying, "Time heals," is just a load of crap.
At the center of everything lies life and the battle to survive, with death lurking in the shadows. Nobody is immune to the complexities of this struggle. The bourgeoisie and the proletariat are just as affected as everyone else. Through Paris Jackson's eyes, we will delve deeply into the history of the pop music icon who was unquestionably the biggest impact on the genre. Just how well did we know this pop icon? When you consider his impact outside of Hollywood, what do you see? See, Paris Jackson reveals the shocking truth about Michael Jackson with us as we delve into this topic. When discussing pop, Michael Jackson, the late monarch though, remains king in the big scheme of things. Music, black history, celebrity, fortune, controversy, litigation, and legacy all came together in an imperfect symphony that was his life. Michael Jackson, the unrivaled king of pop, is one of the most legendary figures in music history. His name is synonymous with passion and energy. His life continues to captivate people even after his tragic death. His daughter Paris Jackson has lately shed light on the complicated story that lies behind the surface of her famous father's celebrity persona. In what ways does Paris's point of view alter the history of a legendary musician? Paris Jackson is the daughter of a worldwide superstar, and as such, she has the honor and the scrutiny that come with that history. By opening up about her father, she gives us a glimpse into the guy who composed the music. Michael Jackson's life is intertwined with contemporary pop culture, like a tapestry of success and failure, celebrity and oblivion. The rise to fame of Michael Jackson was nearly inevitable given that he was born into a musical family. He was an incredibly talented artist from the beginning, whether he was a little dynamo in the Jackson 5 or a solo star on the rise. In addition to dominating the charts with albums like Thriller and Bad, he revolutionized popular music with innovative dance movements that became cultural phenomenon. Although Jackson was a musical prodigy, he was also a victim of scandals that cast a shadow over his life's work. His reputation was tarnished by accusations of child abuse, which put him under constant public and media scrutiny and censure. Paris Jackson's insights shed light on her father's troubled existence in a more nuanced way, making us question our assumptions and exploring the nuances of fame and money more thoroughly. Beyond the dazzling reputation of the king of pop, Paris's observations shed light on the extremely private side of Michael Jackson, the parent. Outside of the public eye, he was a nurturing dad who taught his children to be strong, compassionate, and loving. The intimate events that shaped their bond are portrayed vividly through her eyes, revealing a guy whose humanity was sometimes obscured by the dramatic headlines. In light of this iconic figure's demise, the discoveries made public by Paris Jackson are a sobering reminder of the complex nature of fame. Individuals battling their own ambitions and demons in a culture that praises and criticizes them equally make up the stage personalities and the tabloid headlines. Finally, maybe we can pay proper tribute to the man whose music altered the course of history by making an effort to understand and empathize with one another. Famously known as the King of Pop, Michael Jackson changed the face of music and left an impression on popular culture that would last for decades. His impact went much beyond the success of his singles. He revolutionized music videos, established new standards for style, and utilized his celebrity to promote important social concerns. Music by Michael Jackson, including hits like Man in the Mirror, Black or White, and Heal the World, was about more than simply having fun. It was also about promoting environmental consciousness, social equality, and racial harmony. Notable among his many accomplishments is the important role he played in MTV's programming diversification and emphasis shift toward pop and R&B. With his groundbreaking work in music, dance, and fashion, Michael Jackson solidified his position as one of the most influential figures of the 20th century and solidified his spot on Guinness World Records list of the most successful entertainers of all time. His impact on pop music is incalculable. Many musicians have tried to mimic his performing style and approaches. Both his contemporaries and critics have praised Jackson for his extraordinary talent and charisma. The greatest star, according to Daniel Smith of Vibe, and an unstoppable juggernaut, according to Steve Huey of AllMusic, Jackson's influence on the music business is unsurpassed. Despite facing personal challenges, his musical brilliance shone through, cementing an enduring legacy that beyond genre and time. Berry Gordy, Motown's creator, proclaimed Jackson the greatest entertainer that ever lived. Jackson's impact reverberates across the industries of music, dance, fashion, and celebrity culture, molding the creative environment for future generations. The birth of Paris Jackson took place in Beverly Hills, California's Spaulding Payne Medical Clinic on April 3, 1998. She was named Paris in honor of the city where she was born. It was also a fulfillment of a vow that her father, Michael, Aunt LaToya, and Kathy Hilton had given to her to give her the name Paris in the event that they were blessed with a girl. Among the Jackson family's offspring, Paris was raised by her elder brother, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., whom she calls Prince, and her younger half-brother, Prince Michael Jackson II, who was once called Blanket, but is now called Biggie. Paris and her brothers were raised by their father, who was given full custody following Michael and Debbie's 2000 divorce. According to rumors, Michael wanted Debbie for financial reasons so he could have a family. This led others to conclude that their relationship was mostly economic in character. Still, growing up at the renowned Neverland Ranch, Paris and her siblings had an unusual upbringing full with special advantages. The protective steps taken by Paris's father to shelter his children from the constant scrutiny of the public and journalists were defining features of their upbringing. Keeping their faces concealed from curious onlookers, Paris and her siblings were frequently observed wearing masks when they went out in public. When Michael Jackson tragically died on June 25, 2009, it was a tragedy for the Jackson family. Following his passing, Paris, Prince, and Blanket were entrusted to their grandmother and cousin Tito Joe Jackson, affectionately known as TJ. The world saw a devastated Paris, who was 11 years old at the time, courageously taking the stage during her father's funeral ceremony aired on television. She described Michael as the finest parent possible, spoke of his unfaltering love and dedication while tears streamed down her cheeks. Her heartfelt homage moved countless people as she found comfort in her family's love and support, especially her Aunt Janet Jackson. The remarkable circumstances of her childhood and the devastating death of her father at a young age have influenced Paris Jackson's journey, which has been marked by both affluence and suffering. Despite all that has happened to her, she has grown into a strong young woman who is committed to living her life as she sees fit and continuing her father's legacy of kindness and compassion. As Paris forges her own way in the world, we get a look at her father's life through her eyes, revealing the intimate events that shaped their bond and shedding light on the man behind the music. Underneath it all, Michael Jackson has always been best at being himself. Although he was much more than simply the king of pop, his image has long been dominated by his inventiveness, musical talent, and dance skills. This has served to perpetuate the flimsy illusion of his existence. In conversations, Paris Jackson uncovered the pop icon's hidden talent. He was more than a father. He was a parent. The presence of her father, according to Paris, gave her and her siblings a tremendous feeling of stability. His Royal Highness ensured that they maintained their groundedness while being heirs to the throne. Michael ensured that despite their privileged position, they never felt superior to anybody else. He managed to keep his children modest and teach them valuable societal values despite his immense power, wealth, popularity, and control over people's dancing routines. Which raises the question, how intimately were we acquainted with the pop icon? In a 2017 interview with Rolling Stone, she spoke about her dad's death and the strong bond she had with him even after he passed away. His alleged accessory, an African-made bracelet of rope and jade, was her contention. In this heartfelt homage, she says that the bracelet connected her to her father even after his passing. That is why she wore it religiously and refused to give it up, even though it smelled like him. Paris maintains that her bond with her father goes beyond the material. She says she can sense his aura about her at all times and has had nightmares in which he has influenced her choices. In an interview about her first album, Wilted, she says that Michael has had an impact on her creative process. For as long as she can remember, even while he was, she thinks he will have an impact on her decisions. Her famous and wealthy father was actually rather humble. Naomi Campbell reveals several details about her upbringing in an interview, highlighting the impact her dad Michael had on her. As a child of a wealthy man, she reveals an almost impossible reality about her upbringing, a fact that is highly paradoxical. She was exposed to both spectacular and uninteresting things throughout her childhood. In spite of the harsh conditions, he showed her the other side of life by taking her to these locations. She had an early start in life that was ahead of her years due to her upbringing that took place all around the globe. She views it as a chance to see the real world, even if others would view it as instability. Michael Jackson's music has always been authentic to human feelings, the power of unfettered emotions, and the unsaid aspects of history. Songs like Thriller, Earth Song, and They Don't Care About Us highlight these strong convictions. His convictions were transmitted to his offspring by him. A testimonial to Michael's drive in molding his children around the truth, no matter how it would sound, is Paris's revelation that one of his history lessons dealt with Christopher Columbus, who injured the American indigenous. Unlike some history teachers, he did not portray Columbus as a hero. Additionally, Michael placed a high value on education and would stop at nothing to make sure that Paris valued her studies. Paris once spoke about how her dad wanted her and her siblings to strike a balance between school and play, succeeding in both areas so that they could have a well-rounded upbringing. Even though she had the entire world at her fingertips from a young age, she could only have her way provided she followed Dad's rules. She spoke about how he pushed her to read by telling her that if she wanted 5 toys from the famous toy store, Toys R Us, she had to read 5 books. Michael was so dedicated to making sure his kids were smart and had a good grasp of reality that he would quiz her on the books so she couldn't read them half-heartedly. She had a unique childhood, not spending the most of her time learning in schools, and was homeschooled for the first 12 years of her life. This set her apart from other children. As a result, she mostly learnt from adults in her life, both in the classroom and on educational visits to nations rich in history and culture. Because their parents chose to educate them at home, she and her siblings were able to have a less public upbringing. In a typical case of hiding in plain sight, she disclosed that when they ventured out in public, they concealed their faces under veils so as to avoid attention. Although he has been in the limelight since the beginning of the renowned Jackson 5, he intends to give his children a regular childhood out of affection for them. Paris attributes her strong sense of right and wrong to his severe affection. During an interview with Willow Smith on Red Table Talk, she discussed the beliefs, values, and ideals instilled in her from an early age by her father. She mentioned that someone had asked her if she would carry on her father's legacy. Her late father instilled in her the importance of social virtues like modesty, politeness, and tolerance, which she carried with her into her adult life. Both good and bad things have come from Michael Jackson's legacy for his daughter, Paris. She came from a distinguished family and lived a life where the spotlight was always on her. But behind it all is a young lady dealing with family, self-discovery, and the bright light of her father's legendary renown as she navigates the legacies of her famous father. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown couldn't be more fitting for Paris. She took after her very talented father, but she also inherited the rumors and scrutiny that followed him around. Michael Jackson remains a mystery figure whose fame and impact on his daughter's life are unparalleled. Paris Jackson had an extraordinary upbringing since she was born into fame. From her early years at the 2,700-acre Neverland Ranch to her later struggles with mental health and substance usage, she has demonstrated remarkable resilience in overcoming the ups and downs of fame. In spite of her Jackson family's status and riches, she has often suffered under the weight of expectations. The varied heritage of her father is reflected in Paris. She is just as enthusiastic about activism, music, and fashion as Michael is, and she shares his creative spirit. She is cognizant of the fact that her father's life was negatively affected by his fame. By opening up about her battles with depression, anxiety, and self-harm in interviews and social media posts, Paris has helped bring attention to the less glamorous aspects of life while being in the limelight. Jackson was interviewed by her friend Willow Smith on June 16, 2021, for the Facebook Watch show Red Table Talk. The constant scrutiny from the paparazzi has left Jackson with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which she discussed during the session. But she did say that her mental health has been getting better recently. According to Jackson, she has become creative with her coping techniques, such as making music, using affirmations daily, and going to therapy. In spite of all that has happened to her, Paris Jackson is still hell-bent on carrying on her father's work. Her position has allowed her to magnify the voices of the marginalized and initiate significant change. She has since been an outspoken supporter of LGBTQ+ rights and mental health awareness. Doing so allows her to carry on her father's values of empathy, originality, and perseverance, rather than just mimicking his achievements. Despite her best attempts to carve out her own identity, Paris Jackson will always be associated with Michael Jackson's legacy. The impact of his music, his image, and his effect on her life is immense, molding her identity in intricate and deep ways. Keeping with the larger-than-life yet profoundly human legacy of her father, she navigates the intricacies of celebrity and family. Being the daughter of a pop legend isn't Paris Jackson's only accomplishment. She represents strength, genuineness, and the importance of family. Recognizing the weight of her legacy while carving out her own course forward, she wears the crown of fame with the same poise and modesty that her father did before her. Despite the challenges and weight she bears, Paris Jackson shows no signs of giving up, embodying the resiliency that has always been a hallmark of the Jackson family. The transient nature of things was drilled into Paris's head from a young age. Teachings on the past, present, and future, the pros and cons of living a lavish lifestyle, the value of generosity, and more. Nevertheless, among all these principles, the most concrete idea she had absorbed came from the harsh realities of loss and death, that life and everything in it are transient. The transience of material praise and success is demonstrated by her father's untimely demise. Her tragic descent into drug addiction is evidence that the death of her father shattered her soul and made her act irresponsibly. Paris, as one of the heirs to the pop music monarch's throne, gracefully wears the crown and shows the world her powers via her lively lyrics and colorful music, just as the king did in his own life. Despite widespread empathy, the performance must go on according to the unforgiving rules of the entertainment industry. Even though it seemed like people weren't listening to Paris Jackson, but rather the daughter of Michael Jackson, throughout her early musical career, she was noticed by everyone who listened to her. It was natural for her to struggle with the loss of her father, given that the crown was fragile and made of clay, but it was still hers and carried the same weight. As Michael Jackson lay dying, his family sued the concert promoter, claiming that Michael was overworked to the point that he became dependent on propofol and ultimately succumbed to his illness. The case's depositions forced Paris to confront her grief over her father's death again and again, even while she was in court. Paris Jackson drew strength from her music, which she used to communicate her deepest feelings and ideas when she was going through tough times. She fought to establish her own musical personality, in spite of the pressures of carrying on her father's name. The significance of the clay crown her father had given her could not be denied. It stood as a continual symbol of his lasting legacy. Paris Jackson became an inspiration via her strength and perseverance, showing that we can overcome any challenge and find light at the end of the tunnel. After their father passed away in 2010, Jackson, her brothers, their grandmother Catherine, and their cousins all appeared on Oprah Winfrey's show to talk about their lives. In addition, she and her brother Prince were the ones to present their father's Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2010 Grammys. While attending the exclusive Sherman Oaks, California, Buckley School with Prince, Jackson was an active member of the cheering, flag football, and softball teams. Based on Dennis Christen's 2011 children's fantasy novel, London's Bridge and the Three Keys, Paris. Jackson was set to feature in the 2011 picture. Having said that, the movie never got made. In memory of her father, Paris Jackson, her brothers, Prince and Biggie, and Grandma Catherine, began planning a documentary the next year under the title Remembering Michael. The campaign was suspended owing to opposition, although they had meant to crowdfund the project using Fund Anything. Ever since then, there have been zero updates on the project. Jackson was also featured on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine in the start of 2017. After that, she debuted as an actress in a cameo role on Fox's Star the same year and secured a modeling deal with IMG Models in March. Gringo, 2018, was Jackson's first feature film. The Soundflowers, a musical duo consisting of Jackson and Gabriel Glenn, made their debut performing original songs at Canyon Sessions in June 2018. June 2020 saw the release of their self-titled debut EP, The Soundflowers. Beginning early 2019, Jackson's career took off. She played the role of Jesus Christ in the film Habit and had an appearance in Season 3 of the VH1 series Scream. The next year, in 2020, Jackson released her first album Wilted in November and her first single Let Down in October, all under Republic Records. At the Top Indie Film Awards in 2021, Jackson and Gabriel Glenn's Notes on a Ghost took home the prize for Best Music. She was also a cast member and star of the spin-off series American Horror Stories, both of which air on FX. The 75th Tony Awards were held in 2022, and Jackson was there to promote his Broadway production, MJ the Production. He even introduced a number from the play. As of October 20, 2022, Jackson has already released Just You and the Lost EP, which featured a collaboration with Camp, as well as the song and music video Lighthouse. The Daily Front Row's Emerging Talent Award was to Paris Jackson in 2017, in recognition of her rising star power in show business. She had a bright career in modeling, acting, and singing, and this esteemed award recognized it. Furthermore, she was nominated for Choice Female Hottie and Choice Model at the Teen Choice Awards, which shows how popular she is with younger viewers. In the year 2021, Paris Jackson was still a major player in the music industry. The Soundflowers, a musical collaboration between her and Gabriel Glenn, received widespread praise and the prestigious Best Music Prize at the Top Indie Film Awards. This affirmation further cemented Paris Jackson's status as an artist with the ability to make an indelible mark across all platforms. Everyone from industry insiders to fans has praised and admired Paris Jackson for her flexibility and talent in modeling, acting, and singing. These achievements demonstrate Paris Jackson's growth as an artist and her talent for thriving in various artistic pursuits, which is similar to her father's. Her impressive list of nominations and wins further solidifies her position as an up-and-coming talent who will undoubtedly make a lasting impression on the entertainment industry. The biography of the legendary American performer Michael Jackson is told in the jukebox musical MJ the Musical. The show has Christopher Wheeldon's choreography and Lynn Nottage's writing, and it features Michael Jackson's renowned music. The COVID-19 pandemic delayed the premiere, which was originally scheduled to take place in the middle of 2020 on Broadway. Miles Frost took over for Ephraim Sykes in June of 2021, after the actor was cast as Michael Jackson in November of 2019. Previews started on December 6th, and the show's official opening night was February 1st, 2022, at the Neil Simon Theater. Paris and Prince stood shoulder to shoulder, paying tribute to their late father and taking pride in Michael Jackson's many achievements and the impact he had on popular music. They showed how securely their father's crown stayed in place as Pop King as they sauntered down the red carpet side by side, beaming with joy. Despite reviewers' conflicting reactions, MJ was a financial success, earning 10 Tony Award nominations, including Best Musical. 4 Tony Awards were bestowed to the production: Best Choreography, Best Lighting Design, Best Sound Design, and Best Actor in a Musical, a title that went to Frost. Best Musical Theater Album was another category for which the original cast recording was nominated by the Grammys. The astounding $170.9 million in Broadway earnings for MJ the Musical, as of January 2024, as much than 1.1 million spectators turned up. A lot of people look up to Michael Jackson because of all the money he donated and how he changed the world via his philanthropy. Famous for being an early trailblazer in celebrity charity, Jackson's efforts were praised for inspiring others in the entertainment business. Throughout his life, Jackson was generous with a wide variety of humanitarian endeavors, not limited to monetary donations. In 1992, he set up the Heal the World Foundation and donated millions of dollars to its cause from the proceeds of his Dangerous World Tour. Aside from his monetary contributions, Jackson was an active participant in benefit concerts and made personal hospital visits for sick children all around the world. Michael Jackson's charitable work included not only his active participation, but also the generous donation of professional and personal things for charity auctions, for which he received praise and recognition. Notably, in 1984, he received commendation from President Ronald Reagan for his support of charities fighting alcohol and drug misuse, demonstrating his dedication to social problems beyond only music. In addition to cementing his reputation as a caring humanitarian, Michael Jackson's unmatched charitable legacy landed him a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records. Michael may have protected his kids from the murky depths of the entertainment industry, but he unknowingly showed them the ropes. At some point, Paris enters the entertainment industry. Paris shows off her extensive knowledge of her father's favorite musical styles. Michael Jackson supposedly enjoys a wide variety of musical styles, including but not limited to classical jazz, hip-hop, R&B, Motown hits, rock, and soft rock. He supposedly loved many kinds of music, including the Beatles, which is a testament to his eclectic taste. Paris drew inspiration from her father's extensive musical background when she began her own musical career, forging her own way while paying homage to his work. She embarked on solo projects, drawing on her profound knowledge of the art form and her natural skill to discover who she was as a musician and to captivate audiences with her heartfelt performances. Solo projects weren't the end of Paris's musical journey either. Additionally, she was a big admirer of working with others, so she joined the band The Soundflowers. There, she and her other musicians could harmonize their abilities and create beautiful tunes that fans all over the world loved. Paris discovered a support system and a place to call her own in the music industry with The Soundflowers. Paris finds solace in the ever-present impact of her father as she skillfully maneuvers through the intricate world of show business. Even if it wasn't his aim, his lessons gave her the strength and flexibility to weather the inevitable storms of her profession. Paris Jackson proves with every note she sings and every stage she graces that music can transcend generations while also paying tribute to her father's artistic heritage. Thank you for watching the video. It would mean a lot if you liked, shared, and subscribed. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and scroll down to show your support.